Hey guys, Jordan with the Camper House here. Just wanted to throw together a quick how-to video. I'm going to be changing out the rotors and pads on a 2014 Chevy Silverado 3500. Quick and easy install. Also deal with the P0420 code. Deal with that a little bit, so I'll address that in the video too. Please make sure you hit that like, that subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment. Connect with us on any of our social media. We're always on there.
So we're still back on the Front Range. We're staying at my parents' house. Brooke and I are running into town because we need to go close our bank account from that we've had down here. We've had for a year now, and every time we seem to try to go close it, the bank's closed or we don't make it down in time or something. So we gotta go close the bank account, and then I gotta go to the auto parts store because I'll show you why. This little light of mine, I don't want to let it shine. And for some reason, it kicked on. When we were coming down here, we stopped, unloaded that mattress, turned the truck back on, and this stupid light came on. If there's one thing that really grinds my gears, is the check engine light. I hate it because you got to have the special little scan tool to figure out what is wrong with your vehicle. Wish they'd just make it simple and tell you what is wrong instead of having to go somewhere, have them read it, or buying the tool yourself. And I know most auto parts stores check it for free, and that's what we're going to go do. They'll check it for free for us, but it's just a pain. I wish it would just pop up and say whatever the issue is. So that's what really grinds my gears. We went to the auto parts store. Thought I recorded it, but I lost it somewhere or just didn't record it. They pulled the code. It was a P0420 code, which has a lot to deal with the emissions. We just went ahead, had them clear the code for now, just to see if it would repeat itself, because sometimes there's just a little fault. It'll trip, and then you reset it and it doesn't come back on anymore. So we wanted to do that, and then I was going to go home and research what the code meant and possible remedies for that. Good morning, everybody. It's a little update on the P0420 code. Did a little more research. A lot of it points to the NOx sensors, the NOx sensors, or the catalytic converter. So the cheapest way we're going to go about this is we're going to just clean those NOx sensors right now. A lot of guys being able to do that, you just use an injector cleaner, let them soak in there for a little while. Then you spray them out with some carb cleaner, let them dry, and put them back in. They've had some good luck just cleaning those. Sometimes you just get some soot buildup. So we're going to try cleaning those. Hopefully that'll get rid of the sensor issue. I'm driving my dad's pickup right now to go get the parts that I need and the cleaners. That way I don't have to touch hot exhaust pipe. The other thing we're going to do today is we're going to put new rotors and pads on the front of the truck. There's a little bit of vibration when you step on the brake pedal that comes from the front end, and I think it's just because the rotors are a little warped. So we're going to replace those, do a little how-to video today. But yeah, hopefully just cleaning those sensors will take care of my issue. I really hope so, because those NOx sensors are about $300 a piece. There's one before the catalytic converter and one after the catalytic converter. It seems like the one in front is usually the one that goes bad first. So if cleaning them doesn't work, we'll replace that front one first and then go from there. In order to use the lift in my dad's shop, we gotta move out the tractor, move out one of his trucks, and it just happens to be one of my favorite trucks. Let me show you. 78 Chevy stepside. Isn't that thing beautiful? I had a 76 in high school. Loved that thing. This thing is so much fun to drive. Maybe we'll go for a ride here in a little bit. Alright, so here's one of the oxygen sensors. I guess they're not NOx sensors. These look like they're just oxygen sensors. One there, we'll take that one off. Let me go back here behind the muffler.
Let's see if I can get it. There's another one right there. We'll take both of those off, clean those up, see if that doesn't solve our problem. So I was wrong about those sensors being the NOx sensors. I think there's only one on this, and it's in the muffler, diesel particulate filter, all that combo, whatever it is. What I took out were the EGT sensors, and one of them, the threads were all chewed up on there, so I had to find a new one of those. Called a couple auto parts stores. They didn't have it. They could get it to me for like 30-35 bucks, but it'd be a few days. So I called the Chevy dealership. They had it. Of course, it's twice the price, so 60 some bucks later, my dad went to pick that up, so I'll get those put back in. I did find the NOx sensor. It's on top here. I'll show you. But it takes a special kind of wrench to get it off, and I don't have that wrench. I tried using just a regular open-end wrench, and that didn't work. I felt like it was going to kind of strip it a little bit. So I'm going to have to wait until I can get that that wrench. So I'm not going to clean that today. I'm going to put new def in, because I have heard guys saying that they've just come across a bad batch of def, and that has caused that sensor to trip. So we're going to put all new def in today. That should be pretty empty, so we'll just fill her back up with some new stuff, and we're going to change the brakes real quick. So stay tuned for that. Sorry we don't have the NOx video, but we'll put new rotors and pads on the front end at least today. So this right here is the NOx sensor, and you just can't get in there very well with a wrench. So it's going to take a special socket that's open-ended, because you got this harness here to deal with. If I had a new one to replace it with, I'd just cut that wire off and put a regular socket over there, but I don't have the new sensor today, so we're not going to deal with that. But who knows, maybe the new def will allow it to clear that code, so we'll see. Alright, got the front end jacked up just a little bit. And take our front tires off. Start with these plastic caps here. We'll take the tire off. Now we'll take the lugs off. Got the tire off. Now we got to take this spacer off here so we can get the rotor off. Okay, got that spacer off now. It's right there. Just the 8 nuts. Those guys there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to get a big C-clamp. We're going to compress our brake here in order to pull this off. This is where our brake pads are. There's one on this side and there's one on the other side. And there's 2 pistons here. What we're going to do is that C-clamp's going to compress that, be able to take this off, and then we'll take this off. I believe the whole unit here is called the caliper. I'm not sure what the 2 separate parts are called, but we compress this, pull this off, and then there's a couple bolts that hold this piece on. Take those off, and then we'll be able to get our rotor off. You can put your C-clamp on there just like this. Tighten it down so it compresses it, and we'll move it up here, do the same on the top, and this should pop right off. Let it sit there for a minute, and then you can loosen it. And actually, I forgot, there's a couple little Allen bolts right there. One up top, one on the bottom that we got to get out. So that should pull off pretty easy. You can see the 2 pistons there. They got compressed. Those bolts go through here. Hold that on. I forgot about those. Some brake pads are here. They just pull off. They were getting a little thin anyway, so it's probably a good time to change those out as well. I got new ones. They just look a little old and stuff, so we'll put new ones on there since we're doing new rotors anyways. This one looks a lot better than that inside one. So then there's 2 bolts. There's this one here and this one here that we got to take off. Get those done. This will pop off and we pull the rotor off. So here's the old rotor. Got it off. There's some pretty big grooves in here. That probably wasn't helping with the vibration and shaking when I was braking. Outside looks a lot better, and I believe you can go get these turned down. You can take them to the shop and they can turn them for you. But I just bought new ones, so we're going to throw those on. I'll show you the new one side by side here in just a second. And here's what we're left with. New rotor just slide right on over those studs. Here's the piece I just took off. They had those two big bolts. These guys here. There's the two rotors side by side. Old one, new one. Then we'll just reverse everything that we did. Put this part of the caliper back on first. So here's our new pads. Compared to the old pads, got a bit of life left on these. They also come with a little bit of grease. This grease is for these guys here. You want to grease this section up here because it slides in and out. And then it comes with these, I don't know what they're called, but they're retaining clips. And they sit right in here, top and bottom, both sides. That's what holds the brake pad in. Clips slide right up in there, nice and easy. Your pads slide right in the channels of those. But what I mean slide in the little channels, you can see it's got notched out there. And on here you got a little notch. So that little notch sits up in there like that. Bottom one in there, just like so. And then we'll put the actual caliper part on with the pistons. Alright, the caliper's all on. New pads, new rotor. So I'll put the spacer back on and then put the tire back on. So one thing to note, these pistons will be compressed. So when we get done with both sides, what we'll do before we do anything, we'll start the truck up and we'll pump the brakes until they get stiff again. That'll extend those pistons back out, get everything going. So if you just jump in, put it in gear and try and go, you ain't gonna stop. So we don't want that. So start it up, pump the brakes for a little bit before you even put it in drive till they get stiff, and then you should be good to roll. Got the tire back on there, got my lugs on there. They're tightened down fairly tight. Always make sure you torque your lugs. If had this happen to me, they weren't torqued properly. Lug nuts came loose, snapped the studs right off, tire went down the highway past me. Not a fun experience, so torque them down, look it up what they should be torqued at. These are about 150 foot-pounds. So yeah, get your torque wrench, torque them down properly. So here we are on the driver's side, just repeating all the same steps. I took the tire off, took the spacer off. Now we're going to compress the caliper, take the two Allen bolts out of the back side. There's a little rubber cover on them. Going to take that off, pop that off, take the two bolts that hold this on there, take that off, take the old, I'm just lost my mind. The old rotor off. Jeez. So, yep, just repeat the same thing on the other side. Got everything all put back together. Got the new rotors, pads on. They seem to be working real good. My check engine light's still on. Hopefully we'll run here for a little while. Maybe it'll go off, I'm hoping. If not, we're gonna have to probably buy a new NOx sensor and get that replaced, get the little tool to replace it, but I just wasn't able to do it today because I just wanted to take it off and clean it. But I wasn't able to, didn't have the little tool, a special socket to do it. So hopefully just the new def will help it out here. Okay, so after changing out the def, putting the new EGT sensor back in. Still had the check engine light. So we went to the auto parts store. They cleared it for us, and then we drove the 3.5 hours back to Montrose. The code still didn't come on. It's been 3 or 4 weeks now. Still no code. So I think that new def in there is what solved that P0420 code. So hopefully that helps you guys out if you're in the same bind. If you got any questions, leave me a comment. Hit me up on any social media. Everywhere we're at the camper house. Make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get the notifications anytime we post a video. Our normal weekly videos are Fridays at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thanks, guys, and we hope to see you on the road.